So much of my farming has changed as a result of visiting these farmers in East Africa. So, yeah, we have a much more complex system of farming, much more intercropping, agroforestry. I founded a cooperative. You know, we work very, very closely with our suppliers at Riverford in trying to share knowledge and be supportive of each other, actually, not just to view ourselves as a band of individuals, but to view us, you know, as a community.
I'm Tori Tsui. I'm a climate justice campaigner and author, and I'm a senior advisor for the Fossil Fuel Non-Proliferation Treaty, a big fan of ripple effect, and a customer of Riverford.
Oh. I'm Guy Singh-Watson. I'm an organic farmer of 40 years and the founder of Riverford Organic Farmers. And for 25 years I've been a supporter of ripple effect.
How did you first get involved?
I think I've been growing organic vegetables for 20 years or so, and I just got really fed up with people saying this organic farming, it's all very well for rich Westerners, but it's never going to feed the world. And I honestly didn't know the answer to that, so I thought I'd go and have a look for myself. So I packed a rucksack and spent 2 months travelling around Kenya and Uganda. Yeah, in the end I did convince myself that it could feed the world.
I'm speaking as someone who doesn't know very much about farming, and I want to learn more. So, you know, from a layman's perspective, what are some of the things that you learn?
My friend Timothy took me to see this guy who was farming, I don't know, 20 miles from the road. I remember we went on the back of motorbikes through the forest. And we came to this guy, with James he was called, and he was sitting under a tree. And in what I think most Westerners, you know, my background would call a permaculture system. So, you know, a lot of perennial plants, you know, multi-canopy cropping, some intensive horticulture. On 2 acres, you know, he had several cows, he had pigs, he had chickens, he was producing loads of food for sale. He seemed really happy and proud and relaxed. And I worked out on a bit of paper, and I reckoned his farm was 20 times more productive than the monoculture next door. So it was absolutely astounding, and that question, can organic farming feed the world? On the basis of that, I came back thinking, you know, very firmly that it could.
Tengeneza a compost basket. Make a compost.
In your opinion, what is the direction that we need to head?
In my ideal world, you know, we embrace complexity. We have multi-canopied systems, and that can be much better for wildlife. It can be better for carbon sequestration and fighting climate change. Eating less animal protein, be it meat, eggs or dairy, you know, all incredibly important. The machinery that we have available has been designed to work on large-scale monocrops, you know, actually huge combines and so on. And that isn't going to work in this sort of system. You know, if we could use technology intelligently with wisdom, rather than just forever driving down the cost of food and having ever larger fields, that would be a wonderful thing.
When we were talking earlier, you mentioned something about this perspective of regenerative farming, and everyone says this is the solution, and you know, you said, oh, maybe I'm a cynic. I'd love to just unpack that a little bit.
Farming is inevitably involves disturbing nature. Rather than sort of denying that and actually chasing a dream, it might be better if we were just actually realistic about that. It is, you know, disturbance of nature is a bad thing, and we need to disturb it as little as possible to feed 7 going on 10 billion people. And I would rather, so the word regenerative, especially when it has such a broad application to so many different sorts of farming, is starting to get on my nerves a bit, actually. And I guess that's why I have been so inspired and why I've engaged so long and so deeply with Ripple Effect, because I do think of all the things I've done in my life, this is the most valuable thing that I've done. I mean, it is really promoting, you know, social development, food security, fighting climate change, promoting biodiversity in areas where, you know, food insecurity really exists. And a tiny amount of money spent in the right way can really bring about, you know, huge changes. And it's so empowering of the farmers that I meet.
as consumers, you know, what is the best thing that they can do with their time and their money?
Try and consume less and consume with wisdom and thought, and try and consume less of the most damaging products. And you know, so I mean, I have a particular beef with supermarkets. They have driven British agriculture down a particular route of, you know, low cost, high scale monocultures, which I think has been a disaster, whereby, you know, at Riverford our customers support us farming in a different way because, you know, they can come and see it. And I think a lot of the public, loads of research suggests that, you know, maybe 70% of people are prepared to pay a bit more for food produced in that way, but you are not given that opportunity in a supermarket. I do feel probably even more importantly than how I farm in the UK is supporting this work with Ripple Effect. I mean, their absolute commitment on the ground, the way they work from the bottom up, the way they engage with communities, it's astounding. I just have, you know, I always come back, you know, full of optimism that the world can be so much better place, which I find absolutely inspirational. So I think I'll be a supporter to my dying day.
Better hold him to that.